The color purple, signifying. Nancy Olson, EFR 506, September 17, 2017. The African American community has a very rich and verbal heritage. Unfortunately, this is not always acknowledged, as are the other minorities' heritages when it comes to language. We need to find a way to bridge the gap between the language of the cultural minorities and standard American English. One way to do this is to explain to the minorities the value and the significance of what they've already learned in their own culture instead of degenerating it. For instance, Lee, in 1993, stated that signifying is a discourse heuristic for problem solving that requires analogical reasoning, irony, metaphor, symbolism, and innuendo. Now let's look at The Color Purple, a very popular movie, and see how this can be used to show minorities that there are very significant linkages between their language of origin and the American Standard English. Let's start with irony. In one scene, Shrug says, "It's time for us to go. Celie is coming with us." "Say what?" "Celie is coming to Memphis with us." "Over my dead body." "You satisfied? That what you want?" "No, what's wrong with you?" The irony in this statement, here's this man who's always only loved another person, Shrug, and now she's the person telling him that she's going to rescue his wife. Metaphor. "You a low-down, dirty dog. That's what's wrong. It's time for me to get away from you and into creation. Your dead body be just the welcome mat I need." This is Celie talking, and this makes perfect sense. She spent her whole life being his dirty dog, and now she's turning it around, and he will be that person. Symbolism. Here's his dad, Albert's dad, talking. "You can't talk to my boy that way." "Your boy? Seems like if he hadn't have been your boy, he might have made somebody a halfway decent man." "Say what?" "You took my sister Nettie away from me. You knew she was the only somebody in the world who loved me." The symbolism, here's the dad who loves his son, who's never do well, and the wife who's saying, "You took away the only thing I ever loved, the only thing I ever wanted." The symbolism of the statements. The innuendo that exists in this language. "But Nettie and my kids, they coming home soon. And when we all get together, we gonna sit around and whoop your ass." "Nettie, your kids. Woman, you talking crazy." "Well, I got children. My children live in Africa." "Africa. Learning different languages, fresh air, plenty of exercise. And they gonna turn out a heap better than those fools you never tried to raise." Now stop and think of the innuendo here. You never loved me. You didn't want me. I raised your children, and I did it without any help from you, and unfortunately nothing I did was ever enough to make them be halfway as good as my own children. The innuendo that's hidden in those statements. Signifying, according to Smitherman, 1986 and 2000, is the verbal art of insult in which speakers use humor, insinuation, and exaggeration to put down and talk about one another. So let's look a little further into this conversation and see if it continues in that vein. We have insinuation. Now hold on here. No hold on here, Harpo. If you hadn't tried to rule over Sophia, white folks never would have got her. No, that's a lie. That's a lie. Y'all was rotten kids. You was rotten kids. Made my life here hell. Course your daddy ain't nothing but some dead horse shit. The insinuation in all of this, if you had only loved your wife and not treated her the way you did, she wouldn't be the person that she is now, damaged and having spent time in jail. The insinuation and layers under those statements. Humor. Shut up. It's bad luck for a woman to laugh at a man. My God, the dead has arisen. I had enough bad luck to keep me laughing the rest of my life. Sit in that jail till I'd near about done rot to death. I know what it like, Miss Celie, want to go somewhere and can't. The dark humor of this all. Here's Sophia, who's been so damaged, and Yet here she's rising back up to the occasion, and she's going to be part of the family. And what's the first thing this man says to her? The dead has arisen. What what dark humor there is in this whole statement, and the dark humor of everything you wanted you can't have. Exaggeration. I know what it's like to want to sing and have it beat out of you. I want to thank you, Miss Seeley, for everything you have done for me. I remember the day I was in the store with Miss Millie. I was feeling real down. I was feeling mighty bad, and when I seed you, I knowed there is a God. I knowed there is a God, and one day I was going to get to come home. I mean, yeah, that's a major exaggeration that this woman is going to be the reason why she gets to come home. But on the other hand, this is a valid thing that someday I will get to be like you because someone's treating me like a human being. How sad is that? That shows that we need to have respect for every culture and every student's origins. Delane and Associates in 1985 recommended that since skills acquired in the streets, so to speak, do transfer to school settings, teachers need to develop a respect for rather than a bias against the use of such language. And that's really what we need to do. We need to accept and embrace everyone's culture and use the language of origin to push towards it's standard American English so that you're bilingual instead of trying to take away and degenerate somebody's culture. We need to maximize our students' learning potentials. Grammatical echoes, or the patterns bilingual learners acquire in their first languages, are transformed into their expressions in the second language. This clearly indicates we must respect and value the culture our learners come from if we are to maximize their learning potential, and that's so true. If we're going to make learners learn, we need to value their culture, or else they're not going to be willing to learn from us. Works cited Gay G, Culturally Responsive Teaching, 2nd edition, Multicultural Education Series, and Walker A, The Color Purple. Thanks and have a great day.